Hey everyone, Travis here on day one, week 7 of the LCS, joined by Sheep, who is now come to save XDG from their, what is it, Exdurius Gloria, the from suffering arises sheep. I think that's actually what it says. Either way, Sheep, we were talking a little bit just before this interview about your experiences coming here. So what has the last couple of days been like for you? You can sort of rant about it with me.
So basically what happened was I got contacted this past week, like sometime early this week. I'm not sure, Monday or Tuesday or something. I was on Curse Academy at the time, which is an amateur team. And what happened was XDG contacted Liquid, who is the manager for Curse. He also manages Curse Academy and LoL Pro, the other teams. And Liquid basically messaged me and said, hey, do you want to try out for XDG? And I was like, what? Like, how would XDG even know about me? Like, how does XDG know about anyone in the amateur scene? Because I feel like the amateur scene is just kind of like a thing on its own. And I don't think like hardly any of the LCS teams are really scouting it properly. So, yeah, so then I tried out for XDG. It was between me and I think one or two other people, supports that they were considering at the time. And I didn't think I was going to get it because I don't know if I can say the other person that was trying out, but he already lives in California, and he's a pretty well-known high support who's been around the amateur scene for a while. So I thought, like, oh, they're not going to take the effort to fly me out from Canada, from Ontario or whatever, to come all the way to California. My first time traveling internationally alone. It's just a lot of first times for me. So basically what happened was I had a good time duoing with Zuna, and then one thing led to another, and they booked a flight for me, paid for it and everything. I don't know if I can talk about this, but I had a pretty hard time at customs for unspecified reasons. I don't know if I can talk about that, and I probably shouldn't. So yeah, so it was just like a lot of things worked out really well for me. And then I had a really long flight on Thursday. I flew for 11 hours, which would normally be like a 5-hour flight, because I had a 3-hour layover because the flight was booked so late with a really crappy airline. So it was like one of the worst experiences of my life. And I was like basically dying by the time I got off the plane, because I've never flown by myself. I've never flown internationally. So it was just like a lot of new experiences. I got here Thursday night, and all the XDG guys have been like overly nice. Like, no one in specific, but like all of them are just really nice. They definitely don't deserve like all the backlash they're getting from the community. Like compared to most of the people that I've met so far, just like the XDG guys are also welcoming, and like since I got here, they made me feel really comfortable, because this is all like a new experience for me. All of them are really nice, but specifically Benny, Psycho Sid, he's just really awesome. He's like one of the nicest people I've met. And yeah, so everything just worked out. We got one day of practice in yesterday. We did really well in scrims, and then came in today and spanked C9's bot lane, and that's what basically happened, dude. Yeah.
Should we expect to hear this type of trash talk? Are you the next double lift? Is that?
I'm just kidding. Yeah, I'm the support double lift. No, I'm just kidding around. I don't want to talk like too much trash. I want to stay humble, because this is still a lot of first experiences for me. I think I did pretty well considering it was my first time playing on LAN. Like there's still some like communication issues because we haven't been a team that long, with some fights in the mid game and stuff. And we need to work on objective control a bit better, because C9 definitely had like more dragon control and stuff in the early game. But those are things like we're going to watch the replays, and we're only going to improve as a team. So I'm really excited to be here, and I'm actually having like a really good time. And when I first like decided whether or not I was going to come out here, I was really hesitant, because it's like a big thing to do. I'm only 21, and yeah, so it was pretty scary, but I think I made the right decision. I'm really happy right now.
Now, whereabouts are you from? Because you said you were traveling internationally at Canada, I assume?
Yeah, I'm from Niagara Falls, Ontario, which is, people don't know, it's like an hour away from Toronto, and it's like right across the border from Buffalo, New York.
I actually went through Niagara recently. It's kind of like a small town, correct?
It's like a tourist city, yeah.
So I don't know. Have you had much experience like with really big cities or anything like that?
No, like not at all. When I landed at LAX, I was like crapping myself. Like, I was so scared. Like, it's so different. Like, people don't understand. Like, the only places I've been to is like Niagara Falls and like Alberta or something, which is like, Niagara Falls is like kind of busy, but not really. Like, I thought Niagara Falls was busy, or like Toronto was pretty busy, like going on the QEW and stuff, the highway that goes from like Niagara Falls to Toronto. But that's only like during rush hour. And like, when you come to LA, like when I landed at LAX, like the amount of people for someone that's lived in Canada for so long, it's just so overwhelming. Like, there's just people everywhere. Like, if you drive somewhere, it's like bumper cars. It's like you can't even like move. I feel really claustrophobic, and like I don't know. There's just like people everywhere, man. It's just crazy. Like I don't know.
So were you still with your parents, or what was your living situation like there?
Yeah, basically, I finished a 3-year degree, and I was just waiting tables and playing league on the side, and I was trying to pursue something like just taking a break, and yeah, I was just living with my sister and my dad.
So how did that conversation go down? Like, hey, sister, dad, I've never ever gone anywhere, but I'm going to be leaving to California to compete in a giant tournament. I'll catch you guys later.
Yeah, it went about as well as it went talking with customs. That's how good it went. It did not go that well. It was pretty. My sister's like really supportive. She's known about it like for a while, so it wasn't like that much of a surprise to her. She was actually really happy for me. But my dad is like I think he's like 50. He's like 60 years old, but he's like he should be like 30 years older. So yeah, so like he didn't understand any of it. So but he just knew I was going to LA and stuff, and like he was like really sad. But you know, sometimes you just gotta do things for yourself. So
Do you plan on talking to them after today's gigantic win?
yeah, I'll probably make a call home. I don't have like a phone plan. Like my phone plan is only that I can send text internationally. So I'm trying to like save money. I'm really cheap. So like, hang on.
Yeah.
It's like a really old smartphone. If you can see this, it's falling apart. Like all the things are off the side and stuff. But I pay like $30 a month, so I'm not getting an iPhone. And yeah, I'm just keeping this until it dies. Yeah, I have 6 texts, so people are pretty excited, I think.
Showing up here at the studio this morning must have been a very unique experience for you, especially since you'd sort of played in the challenger scene for a while. What was that like?
It's all completely new to me. Just a bunch of new experiences. There's not really anything like any other way to put it. Like everything is just brand new. I've never done anything here before. And I was like playing on land for the first time, especially. It's like a huge thing. Like when you're facing all these idols of yours that you've like been spectating for so long. Like it's just weird to think that like a few days ago I was just at home in Ontario, just like watching all of these guys that are like, you know, I play with in solo queue, but I don't necessarily know them personally. And now I'm actually here, like really far away from home on my own, just playing with all these guys. But, you know, like I said, like all the XDG guys are like super nice, and they're making it like a really easy transition for me. So it's pretty fun.
Now, tomorrow you guys play against CLG. That means you'll be going up against one of the more infamous bot lanes worldwide, which is Doublelift Aframo. Do you have any nerves about that, or, you know, what are your thoughts going into that?
I respect all the LCS bot lanes equally. I don't want to like underestimate anyone, but like coming into today, like just being an amateur player, I thought like C9's bot lane was one of the best bot lanes I played, and I've scrimmed against most of the LCS teams on my amateur team. So I'm not gonna treat it like any differently. I like if we play as we play today, but just fix some communications issues and stuff, I think we could do okay. CLG and C9, I consider them both top teams, so really we could win tomorrow too if we play well.
Really quickly, we can just back up and talk about the game that happened for you guys against XDG. You had it just went really well. I'm sorry, as against C9 on XDG, it went really well for you guys, but it was actually just an incredibly entertaining game for everyone to watch because there was so much back and forth. What was the experience like for you actually playing in that very intense match?
Yeah, so the biggest thing that I noticed is that like I think that Riot should get soundproof booths. Just my first time playing, like I could hear people like if I did something like really good, like people were like sheep and like yelling my name in the audience. It was pretty cool, but it's like it kind of gets in your head a bit because sometimes like everybody on the team is like talking at once. They're all like, okay, go do this, go do that. I'm like, guys, just calm down. Like everybody just calm down. And I'm like trying to contain myself because like if I make a good play, everyone's like sheep, and I'm like smiling. I'm like, oh yeah, man, they're saying my name. But it was pretty cool, man. It's just a cool experience. Maybe they could get soundproof booths in the future, but for now it's not that bad. It's pretty fun to hear the crowd. But I could see how it could like be a problem like it was at Worlds last year when people were shouting when Dyrus was getting ganked and stuff. So it might be a good investment in the future.
All right. And then just sort of wrapping up, I do want to say you mentioned at the start of the interview that things were going really well with Benny, and that you had like a cool relationship with him. Now it seems like we kind of saw that in that last game because you guys were constantly going in together, making these big plays. Caster's going crazy about sort of the Benny and Sheep show where you guys were both making these big initiations. Uh, what what do you think that the relationship that you had with him outside of the game really helped inside?
Uh, Maybe, but I think it was just the champions we were playing. Like I was playing Leona and he was playing Shyvana, and they didn't really have any peel for their backline because they had LeBlanc and Gragas. They had like two like dive heavy champs. Like those champions don't really do anything for their backline. They just have to dive in and kill our carries. So what happened was like it wasn't even really communicated. It was just me and Benny were kind of just like if I got a good ult or whatever, he would follow up, and because Benny was like so tanky, like Sneaky couldn't really do anything. So it probably looked like me and Benny had really good synergy, but we were just really like just diving their backline because we were both so tanky.
Awesome. All right, end of the interview here. So normal thing for me is just to say, do you have any shout-outs, plugs, anything like that?
Okay. I don't know our sponsors. I think it's like maybe.
Well, you could just give a general shout-out to your sponsors, maybe. Yeah.
Okay, I'll give a shout out to XDG sponsors. Yeah, and just a shout out to all the fans. It's a really cool experience just being here and like signing autographs and stuff. You guys are awesome.
Very good. Well, thank you so much for the interview. It's run very long. I'm going to have to ask you about the sheep another time because I know that's a huge story, I'm sure.
It'll be a mystery until next time.
Until next time.
Okay.
For everyone, you can check out the rest of our coverage of the LCS and more at ongamers.com.